This is Prime News. Breaking news now. Police in Tracy, California are in full force searching for 8-year-old Sandra Cantu's killer. The family's worst fear was confirmed last night when investigators at an irrigation pond found the missing girl's body crammed in a black suitcase. At this hour, there's crime scene tape at a church just an eighth of a mile from the mobile home park where the girl was last seen. Police are searching the church today. Listen as they broke the news of Sandra's death at a news conference.
This is an unimaginable loss for any parent. It's a very difficult loss for our community.
We will be determining the person or persons responsible for this reprehensible act, and we will bring them to justice.
No one is in custody right now, so do police have any idea who did this? Joining me now to talk about it, Don Clark, former FBI special agent in charge, Dan Kerman, reporter for Prime News affiliate KRON, Eric Firpo, reporter for the Tracy Press, Dr. Bruce Levy, a medical examiner, and on the phone, Sergeant Tony Shinneman with the Tracy Police Department. And let's begin with you, Sergeant. What can you tell us first about what's going on at this church?
The investigation is ongoing. There is a search warrant that's going to be served there at some point today.
Okay, so it hasn't been served yet?
No.
Okay, and what led investigators to the church? Are investigators following one lead at this point?
We've been notified by the court that our warrants are going to be sealed, and I can't discuss any details about the cases in regards to the warrants.
Regarding the warrants, okay. So last night, the suitcase was taken from that irrigation pond, and where was it taken from the irrigation pond, and what was discovered there?
Yesterday at around 10 o'clock or so, the farm workers draining that collection pond to irrigate one of their fields noticed a suitcase come up to the surface, and they called the San Joaquin County Sheriff's Department, who in turn called us. A detailed search of the area was conducted for any possible evidence prior to removing the suitcase from the pond. The suitcase was removed from the pond at around 5:40 and taken directly to the San Joaquin County morgue where it was opened.
Okay, let's bring in the doctor, Dr. Levy, a medical examiner. The body taken from a suitcase. What can a medical examiner learn from this? Are we going to be able to determine when the child was killed?
I think they're going to have a very good chance of figuring out quite a bit. These are not only heartbreaking cases for a medical examiner, but some of the most difficult ones. And it sounds like from what we've heard, they're already doing everything correctly. You control things very, very closely, because in that suitcase is not only the body, but potentially a huge amount of evidence that is going to have to be examined and very carefully revealed one bit at a time. Very controlled circumstances, very detailed examination, and they should be able to find out exactly what happened to her.
And will they be able to tell how long the body was in the water? Is that something that a medical examiner can figure out?
In a general sense, we can. You know, we can't narrow it down like we're watching CSI and narrow it down to a 15 or 30-minute period. But we can tell the difference between a body that's only been there a day or two and one that's been there for 10 days.
All right, let's bring in Dan Kerman from KRON. You know, one thing that confuses me a little bit about this story is the big picture. What is the landscape like here, this irrigation pond? Where is that in relation to the mobile home park? And how do you get access to this area? Is it well lit? Can you describe it for us?
Well, everything is very close to each other. We're right in front of the mobile home park. That church that's been cordoned off is just an eighth of a mile down the road from me right here. And as far as the irrigation pond, that's about 2 miles from here. You just go right up Tracy Boulevard, and it's right off of a county road, so it's very easily accessible to pretty much anybody who is going down that county road. If you don't have a lot of farming to do in the area, you most likely would not have been down that road before, but it is very accessible to get to that pond.
All right, Don Clark, former FBI special agent in charge. Don, looking at these developments and the way this investigation is going, we have an investigation that takes us from the mobile home park to the irrigation pond, now to a church. I know that the sergeant can't tell us, but what do you think? Do you think we're following one lead at this point?
Well, I think they're following several leads, Vinny. And I want to say right off the bat, I think this police department is really doing a good professional job. They've kept the information to themselves. They don't give people like me enough information to talk about out here, but they really are doing a good job, and my condolences to that family. But I have to tell you, they are following several leads. They're not at the church just because it's a church. Obviously, there's something there, or someone has been there, and they probably have that information that's of lead value to them, so they're going to follow it out to the end. And as the medical examiner said about the body, they're probably already getting some information from the body that's going to give them even more leads.
All right, we're going to have much more here on this case. We've got great guests all lined up. We're going to find out a little bit more about the area, about the investigation, and where it all is going to lead. Don't go anywhere.